Gladiator 2.
Carly just burped.
16 years in the making. Or maybe that was just the movie. Okay, James, let's talk about the gist. What'd we think?
I thought it was really good. It had lots of action from moment to moment. Not a lot of drawn out, boring things. They kind of just kept everything moving along, which I really liked.
I thought the beginning was really slow. I'm not gonna lie.
It starts with a friggin' battle.
I know, which is kind of funny. I feel like they tried to... Oh, wait, I feel like I'm getting into spoilers. Okay, gist. I mean, the performances were unreal.
Great performances. Denzel's character is really great.
Just, I couldn't take my eyes off him. Obviously, like, Pedro was amazing, and same with Paul Mescal, but I just loved Denzel's character so much, and I thought the casting was so well done for the little shit emperor twins. But overall, I mean, nothing's gonna top the first one, and overall I enjoyed it, but I thought it could have been 30 minutes shorter. And I'm being honest. And I thought that they could have
It didn't feel like it was 2.5 hours to me, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it was... I don't know why, but I thought it took too long in the beginning to get to... I don't know what it was. I don't know. Basically, yeah, I overall enjoyed it, but you can't deny there were some parts that were super cheese fest. Like, really cheesy, and I don't know why. There were some parts that, like, made me laugh out loud with, like, certain moments and stuff. But, and I mean, I don't really think this is a spoiler. There was a couple of, like, CGI ship moments that, like, really took me out of it. That was, like, so bad that I was like, why did you even need to show this shot? Like, if it was going to look like this. Okay, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Well, there's not much to spoil. I mean, even in the trailer, they tell you that he's the son of Maximus.
They do?
Yes. That's why when you were telling me, I was like, yeah, I know. It's in the trailer.
I wish we had rewatched the first one. Not gonna lie.
So they pretty quickly they reveal to you that the lead character is the son of Maximus. But if you've seen the trailer, you'd have already known that anyway. So why did they even need to build that up? But and why did they tell us that in the trailer? I don't know. Probably because they wanted to make sure people saw it.
I also think that, like, there were certain things I didn't think was necessary. I get that they did it because if you hadn't seen the first movie and it had been a minute, like the animation and like the flashbacks and stuff, I thought that was unnecessary.
I like how Denzel Washington's character goes from kind of like good guy to the hero to the villain to like the super villain, which is see that a little more often nowadays, which is really great. So if it's done well, it's really great.
It was done so well because you completely get where he's coming from. You get that he started off where the Paul Mescal character was, and he's just as bad as everybody else because he's just trying to survive.
He's just trying to make it to the top and do what he's able to do. But
the monkey in the diaper was pretty amazing.
The monkey's great.
You haven't seen that kid before. That kid played the grandson in that Thelma movie with her on the scooter.
I don't remember.
And
I don't think I've seen him.
It's the only other time I've seen him, and he's great. And saying, well, what's his face from Stranger Things and Quiet Place.
It's cool to see his character because I think he authentically was trying to be a good emperor, even though he was just kept screwing up. And like he authentically thought that killing the general was a smart move. Because he was a traitor and thought his people would get it, and they said no.
I really love that they I love that they, did that they one-upped it with like the Aqua games. That was really cool because they used to do that.
Yeah, it was great.
Even though the sharks looked really, really CGI.
Most of the CGI was pretty poor, at least for like the animals. But I think they just did what they could. Obviously, they had a pretty big production budget for all the live action stuff and the CGI of.
It's just what's tough is that the stuff that was live action and like real sets was so good. So when they would show CGI, it was so obvious. So part of me was like, you just should have cut around it, or you just shouldn't have shown that much. Because there was part of the ship battle that looked extraordinary. Yeah. And then a couple of the wide shots that literally looked like it was made in like Flash.
I think they spent their CGI stunt.
So like part of me was just like, don't show that shot then. I don't need to see a shot of all the ships. Like, I don't need to see that,
I didn't notice the CGI quality on the opening ship battle.
I definitely did. The main establishing shot, it you could tell they were just like kind of like identical things, and they duplicated it. But yeah, because here's the thing. Overall, obviously, I enjoyed it. I was so, but there was a couple. If I'm gonna be nitpicky, the opening, there was literally zero character development for his wife. Like, absolutely none. Why should there be?
Yeah.
Because it raises the freaking stakes.
Yeah, but
I didn't believe it.
We only need to see how much he loves her.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this from a woman's perspective, James, and I know that you don't understand this. Because there's always the lead male protagonist, but the character development for the chicks in this was weak as shit. You can't deny that. She didn't even speak. She just like smiled, and he groped her, and she was trying to do the clean laundry, and my first thought was she'd be pissed if he grabbed her.
She was speaking.
What did she say, James?
It was 3 hours ago. I don't remember.
No. And here's the thing, and we can say all we want, like, oh, there wasn't enough time, but it's like, that was the thing that probably bugged me the most about the beginning, was aside from me knowing that he was the son of Maximus, like, they had a few moments and scenes for you to establish who he was and why we cared about him. And just to give someone a spouse and be like, oh, they died within like the next second, but us not really care. Does that make sense? Like, I cared because I know I'm supposed to care, but I also didn't really care.
Okay.
I don't like doing these with you because when you don't agree with me, you just kind of like shut down. You don't like banter back and forth with me. You just go, okay.
You could have a 3 hour long movie, I guess.
No, I didn't say it needed to be long. It just needed to be something. She literally did not speak one word. Did you notice that?
Yes, she did.
What'd she say? I love you?
We can watch it again.
I don't think she said more than 5 words.
She had a couple of lines.
No, she didn't. Other than the whispering when she went off into the dead unknown or whatever. And, yeah, kind of a bummer for the mom, too. It's just really weak character development. But then again, it's written by men and it's for men.
She's from the first movie, so.
That's from the first movie. But
isn't she the queen of the Amazons?
She is.
That's all I needed to know.
The only other thing too that like I feel like was a little like hitting the nail on the head. I didn't need the big epic, I don't know. I needed some sort of speech at the end, but it was just a little like
there's a lot of big speeches.
It's like it was a little too like it was just cheesy how much he needed to speak at the end for them to be like, yeah, you're right. We don't want to die anymore. Yeah, rah, rah.
They should have only had one speech.
Or they literally just, all they needed to have him say was like one line. Hey, listen, I'm the prince.
Listen, man.
We
know our city's good.
We know our, exactly. That's why I said it like that. It's like, That's from I Think You Should Leave, for those of you who don't know.
Let's review that show now.
That show we don't need a review. 10 out of 10. Perfection. Anyway,
Okay, bye.
So here's a few add-ons from Gladiator 2 upon reflection that I remembered the next day. In the beginning, it looked like he was chewing gum when he was about to go into battle, which made me laugh really hard. It was just kind of weird. But I also think it was probably just like an actor character choice, but it definitely stood out to me and I had to mention it. I really loved the conflict of Pedro Pascal's character, where he's literally doing his job, but he also is trying to do what's best for Rome, and he's also dealing with the son of someone who is his friend that he really respects. I thought that conflict was really good. One more thing I had to mention about Denzel's performance. I actually heard from someone that his name is not pronounced Denzel, it's pronounced Denzel, which I don't know how accurate that is, but I just thought of it when I said his name. Like the specificity of the way that he held his robes, you can tell that he did such character work. If you've ever acted before, it was just so specific and so great. I didn't feel like there was a part of me when he was like talking to his mom, like how did he go from being like, fuck you, lady, to yes, I'll wear your ring. And like completely loving and accepting her. Like it almost like I didn't really believe that turn. It almost didn't really feel like it was earned. I don't know if it was in the performances or something that they could have added in the plot. I don't know if scenes were cut or whatever. And when the mom died at the end, like I really didn't actually care that much. And for me, it just points to how the female and the women characters in this film seemed that they just existed for plot suffering of the male characters. Like they were so underdeveloped. So I just had to point that out. Even though I really enjoyed it, I thought it was a really decent sequel. I liked how it ended in the victory of him fulfilling at least the beginning of the fulfillment of his father's dream for Rome. But I just had to point that out, that was something that was missing for me. And of course, you know, maybe I'm the only one that noticed it because it's very difficult not to see it when you're not looking at it from a female perspective.